So hi everyone and welcome to my session, Skills of the Future. My name is Krajewska-Olkkonen and I am the CEO and partner of the company called GrowthTribe Finland. And my goal for today, for this session is actually spend the next 40 minutes talking about really exciting and very important topic. What skills do you guys need to succeed in your career? But what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you very concrete ideas, very concrete frameworks, and very concrete insights which will help you in developing your career, developing your, skill set. And I'm going to also talk about, why this is important. Because this is exactly what I want to, discuss today. I want to talk about why the work around us is changing and how to secure that our careers are actually, fine in the upcoming couple of years. For those who are wondering, by the way, about the presentation, so I will let you know how you can get the slides. So if you are thinking about making notes, I will share the slides with you after the session. So, okay, that was the intro, and maybe let's dive into actual presentation and maybe short intro why I am talking actually about this topic today. So the reason why we talk about it at GrowthTribe, about skills of the future, is that we are truly, truly passionate about learning. So we are training and coaching company. And this is exactly what we do. Our mission is to actually elevate humanity through learning. We strongly believe that the learning, continuous learning is the key and the only necessary thing you need for your career. And that's the right mindset. And that you need actually to succeed in your professional life. So we are a digital learning partner. We work with different organizations on bringing different skills and capabilities up in the teams, but we also help individuals and professionals to upskill the game, to upskill some kind of skills that they might need in their career. And today I'm gonna actually tell you more what skills you might consider in your career in the upcoming years. So we are also kind of revolutionizing the way organizations and people learn. We try to make it fun. We try to make it very relevant and hands-on. And we actually work with different types of the organizations. This topic is important for startups, for one-person company, for scale-ups, but also for big international organizations and very, I would say, regulated industries. Like we work with all of those organizations, so it's just very relevant for many types of companies. And also, depending where you are in your career, in the beginning, or you are already leading successfully teams, this is also something I'm going to touch upon. This is also relevant for you. So let's dive into skills of the future. Our agenda for today is pretty simple. I'm going to first talk about the skills of the future report. So something that I'm going to share with you after the presentation, our newest report on what skills, especially if you are in marketing and data, what you might need, why this topic is important on the micro level, micro scale to really individual approach. And also I'm going to talk about 3 types of skills that you might need. So very urgent skills, very cutting edge skills, and fundamental skills. So this is something I'm gonna cover today. And in the end, there is going to be also a time for some Q&A. So let's dive in. First one was the topic, the area of our report. So GrowthTribe is actually producing different types of content, and one of the recent publication is the report, The Skills of the Future. In the end, I will tell you how you can get the full report. But the good thing is I'm going to actually share some insights from this report already today. But again, we just published it. We talked with hundreds of organizations, what skills they are looking for. So it might be, you might get some good insights for your career or for your teams if you are leading an organization. So let's start actually with the first part, why this topic is actually so important. So I don't know if how many of you is familiar with the World Economic Forum organization. So it's the forum that organizes once per year meeting in Davos, where like really urgent topics are discussed, and something that is important for for countries, for big organizations, like that they basically unlock the topics that are crucial for different industries. And they kind of like navigate the conversation to the urgent areas, and this is exactly one of the topics this year, they call it even the Riskkilling revolution. That there's actually the urge and then the necessity for upskilling over like billion people in the upcoming years, because technology is developing so fast that basically we as professionals and organizations, we are not keeping up with this development, which actually means that it's a huge challenge for communities, for governments, for countries, for larger institutions, for big organizations. So that's definitely on the agenda of many organizations. How we can keep up with the right skills to keep up with this technological development. And it was really surprising for me that I learned that over 1 billion people, as I said, people will have to be upskilled in less than 10 years. It means that totally new skills will need to be acquired by huge amount of people. So those people will be most likely taking care of their own development by themselves, but it's also on the agenda of the countries and big organizations to actually keep up with this reskilling and measuring all the time what skills people need. Also, another interesting fact, which is closer to all of us, is that in less than 2 years, 42% of the core skills, so something we all use when we come to work every day, 40%, almost half of those skills will be changed due to technology. That basically means that we will definitely have to learn new skills in the upcoming 24 months. And clearly also, which is very important for all of us, that I'm not talking only about technological skills. I'm talking about especially interpersonal skills like sales, like care, like education, human resources. Those are actually skills which we all will have to add to our portfolio of skills in the upcoming years. So yes, this is actually a global problem. But let's zoom in a bit closer to the organizations, right? Somewhere that we actually work. I don't know how many of you know this trajectory of the development. This is actually according to Moore's law, who actually stated already from the 70s that every 2 years, every 18 months, the power of computers develops, right? So it actually doubles. It doubles every 2 years, which means that we are facing exponential growth of technology. And the challenge for organization is that already like 77% of CEOs from the biggest global organizations, they openly say that they don't have the skills needed to keep up with those developments. So as you see here on the green one, the technology develops very quickly. On the yellow one, this is how organizations follow the development. What happens is that the gap between what's needed and what the organization have, it's really all the time growing. So it's really, really fast out there, I would say. If I would say one example, for example, like about the understanding how quickly the technology develops, is that, all of us, we have probably even in our hands right now, our smartphones. So it basically means that our smartphones, which we have in our, pockets nearby, have 100,000 more power and 7 million times more memory and storage that the computers that were on board of Apollo 11 spacecraft that carried astronauts to the moon. That basically shows how the technology develops very quickly, and it's again like something that we are facing the speed of the development of technology. It's basically moving faster and faster all the time. So the thing is that upskilling and reskilling is on the agenda of many organizations already, but only 1/3 thinks that this is the basically the any kind of threat to their growth. So it's definitely something that we are facing the momentum when more organizations, more companies, more individuals have to start thinking what skills I have to add to my portfolio to stay relevant. Because as I absolutely agree with Peter Senge, who is the author of the Fifth Discipline, that the only competitive, the most sustainable competitive advantage of organization is the ability to learn faster than your competitors. It basically means that if your organization can learn faster than your competitors, this is where you have the advantage. So definitely, if you are leading organizations, if you are leading your team, this is definitely something that you should consider, and making sure that you have the right skills in the organization. And let's zoom into the maybe today, basically, because why this is relevant for today is because by all estimation, the development of technology, if it develops exponentially, as I showed, it's going faster and faster. So today, I would say that today we are facing the slowest rate of development so far. As of tomorrow, it's going to be only faster. So this is kind of like good to think about, keeping up with this development, because in the end, it's you and me who will be thinking, okay, what skills I need to add to proceed with my career. Because this is maybe the next step, is asking the most important question for our career, and the most scary question, I would say, if we think about, as professionals who have many years ahead in the professional life. The question is, am I still relevant? So am I still relevant in my work? Am I still relevant as an organization? Am I still relevant as a company? How can I stay relevant, right? If we know that it's very fast out there, the technology is developing, the new skills are coming all the time in place. So there is one method or one I would say framework that definitely helps all of us and will help all of us in staying relevant. The concept is called a T-shaped employee. Here I put as example, if you are in marketing, so for example, like T-shaped marketeer. The concept basically says that a T-shaped employee, T-shaped professional is someone who has a broad skills on many areas, right? That you don't dive very deep in those. You are not an expert. It's enough that you have, expertise in one or two areas, as you can see. That will be your specialization. But as a professional, you really need to understand really wide portfolio of different skills and areas. So as I mentioned, this is an idea for marketing professional, right? So we talk here about data, we talk about even behavioral psychology, we talk about the finance. So this is the key to stay relevant in the upcoming years. Why? Because organizations who are very fast moving, like Amazon, like Google, like Facebook, and so on, they are exactly looking for T-shaped profile employees. Why? They are looking for those because T-shaped employees, T-shaped teams, they are much more faster. They don't have to rely on others to get some information. If you are in the marketing, you don't have to, slow down waiting for some kind of data analysis from the data analysts. You actually are able to do it on your own, and so on and so on. So they are much more faster. They are much more reliable, and this means that organizations who have T-shaped employees, they are much more competitive again, and that also means that they are much faster. And this is another T-shape kind of profile of for example, product owner, because for every one of us, the T-shaped profile might be different. This is something to remember. So just to summarize, the whole idea is that remember that you might be specialist in one or two areas, but please remember that you have to add to your profile like really many areas to build your kind of like at least understanding and some kind of awareness in different fields. So the next question will be what would be your kind of portfolio of those skills. Again, I will share in the end the information how you can get this like empty canvas for your like putting your T-shaped portfolio when you for example want to work on your profile. So I will share those with you. But some kind of tips that comes exactly from our report, which I mentioned in the beginning. For example, for marketing professionals, couple of good skills that are really definitely good to add to your profile. T-shaped profile is definitely a growth mindset. To have a growth mindset, I will talk about growth mindset a bit in a second. Definitely understanding data strategies, and using the data from experiments. Big area that is growing. Also, like sharing the learnings with your team. This is very often overlooked skills: communication, team building, collaboration. Those are definitely the skills that you might need in your profile. And running experiments, that's another one which is very, very important. And using and understanding attribution models in marketing. So this is according to our findings from our just recent report. We focus in our in the report on marketing and data. So if you work with data or you are thinking to pursue data career or career in data, couple of skills that you might need are again, growth mindset. This is something that it's definitely it's not going anywhere. Growth mindset is the key in the future. Also machine learning and understanding the analytics very well. Again, sharing the learning, so team building, collaboration capabilities, those are very, very, very important. Simulations and machine learning programs, and creating a clear data strategy. So those are, guys, definitely the skills that you should add to your T-shaped profile. So this is about the T-shaped profile, concept as in general. The next question is basically how can I stay relevant in the upcoming years, and how can I add those skills to my portfolio? So this is usually this is a good question in general, which we like to answer, or I like to answer with another question. Those skills take time. So how many hours per week, per month, per year you actually spend and you dedicate for deliberate learning? I mean, like that you actually spend on reading something, listening to something, with not accidentally, but actually with the idea that this is the area I want to learn. Just the thought that already the idea that you are here today listening to this is or listening to those presentations, this is the right mindset. This means that you have the definitely right approach there. But the problem, it's a global challenge, because if we think how fast the technology develops, we should be spending over 3 to 4 hours per week constantly learning something new. Well, it's definitely not possible, and it's not realistic, at least not for everyone. There is definitely many studies on this. This is my favorite studies that actually shows that in fact people spend less than 1%. So people spend less than 25 minutes, around 24 minutes on deliberate learning every week. And it's not really only on people, responsibility or individuals' responsibility, because of course we would love to all the time learn, but we have our team meetings, we have our projects, we have our calendar, which are usually booked, especially right now. So the challenge nowadays is not only, finding yourself time, but also asking your company and having this, building the culture in your company of continuous learning and continuous development, and helping people, if you are leading the team, so helping your teams to allocate time for learning. Because clearly, historically, when we look at it, this is something that we call transformation pyramid, where we kind of like put the key elements for successful transformation in the organization. Historically, organizations underspend in the area of developing capabilities in the personnel, in the teams. Organizations are really good in putting beautiful strategies, implementing great tools in the organizations, or building a great and complicated, very often, processes. But where they forget very often is that, without people having the right skills and the right capabilities, you cannot achieve the rest. So we are big advocates, and we talk about always that actually you should start with the first one, like making sure that your teams, they have the right skills and the right attitudes first, before you actually deploy the rest. So that's kind of like why we are so passionate about the idea of training people. Something that might help you as well as a professional is that, the idea of different type of skills is not really new, right? So there is a lot of skills, like I would say, that, lists that you can check already online. What kind of skills do you need? So if you will be building your, T-shaped profile, definitely a lot of resources there. For example, LinkedIn is very good in putting the resources out there, and Mercer is also doing it. So definitely a lot of good lists. And this is not something new. So also before, by the end of 2019, I would say, we were also following this. But then in the beginning of 2020, something like, we call it black swan, and we all know what I'm talking about. So of course the pandemic happened. So COVID happened, and that pretty much shaken the whole, world of thinking about the skills, because that also made companies requiring absolutely different skills than before. And that's something that, definitely good to consider. And our kind of division of different skills is exactly looking at the unexpected accidents like COVID, looking at those skill sets and capabilities, so you can be actually future proof regardless of what happens or in the upcoming years. But as you can see here, this is basically a study showing, picture showing that we're going to really deal with post-pandemic consequences for quite some time. So again, couple of skills we need to add to our portfolio, thinking about the current situation. Another a bit like a challenge that we have towards the traditional division of the skills, which is normally, and most likely you heard in this division of soft skills and hard skills. This is very common, idea of dividing the skills into different groups. And in most skills-based solution companies, the organizations actually divided the skills into those two groups, right? Those two skills. So in other words, if we look at the hard skills, so those are more technical skills, right? So those are the skills that you really need to perform a job, right? To do something like operating the drill or operating, some code or learning something very technical. And then we have the soft skills, which are historically maybe overlooked and then kind of more considered as something that, people are born with, or they are more like, something that it's maybe even considered very often as not so crucial in the job, something that is very difficult to definitely obtain. And I totally agree. But to be very, very honest, this distinction is actually it's getting a bit on our way. Why? Because I think that hard skills are really the soft ones, and the soft skills are hard. So we would like to change the thinking about the skills. So hard skills are really soft here, and I absolutely agree with Josh Bersin, who is the guru of HR. different aspects of HR, but he already stated that hard skills are actually soft. Why? Because they change all the time. Those are the ones who are becoming obsolete with the technology development. So if you think that how fast the technology develops, then you can also see how fast those hard skills are becoming old, becoming obsolete, where you have to all the time upgrade those. But soft skills are actually hard skills. Why? Because they are definitely very difficult to learn. They take years and years to learn and to obtain, and they are very, very difficult to learn. So that's something that we definitely, if you are planning to put those different types of the skills to your portfolio, your T-shaped profile, please consider that, this kind of division of those. I would even go a bit further, and I would say the soft skills, we should call them power skills. And there is like IBM really known research saying that the soft skills are the ones who really get you further with your career. So definitely the soft skills are crucial for your development in the upcoming couple of years. So a quick, look at the, maybe traditional division of those skills. So slower skills, like so-called power skills, teamwork, collaboration, and so on, empathy. If you need those, and I would put more and more of those in our portfolio for the T-shaped profile, please remember that those actually take sometimes years. It might take years to develop those skills. So it's absolutely possible to, master those skills, but definitely it's a long process. But the fast skills, the tech skills, those are the ones that you can actually get very, very quickly. And even sometimes you need like 1 hour, or you can get some course over 1 day or a couple of days, and you will be set. So this is kind of like the big picture, like why we talk about skills, why this is important, and how you can use the idea of the T-shape profile for your career development, and to make sure that you are staying relevant in your careers in the upcoming 3, 5, 10, 15, or even more years. Or even if you lead your teams and you are building organization, you are building the startup, think about what kind of portfolio of employees you actually might need in your organization. So now let's dive into the second part. Very briefly, I'm going to walk you through 3 types of skills which we strongly believe are needed in the upcoming couple of years. So this is the division that we have. So we divide the skills into urgent, cutting edge, and fundamental skills. And we build those skills, or we kind of divided those skills we put it on this, the exponential growth, graph here, because for us it's the starting point when we think about the skills development, right? So for us, like this, the fact that the technology develops very fast, and we really have to catch up with this development of the technology as quickly as possible. But of course, we cannot do everything. So this is how we divided the skills. They are urgent skills. They are, cutting edge skills, which will, they won't be affected by anything. And they are fundamental skills, which definitely I advise you to put a lot of attention and a lot of effort, even if they don't seem very, very urgent, but they will be something that you will get the best return on investment. So let's dive in. I will give you some examples. I decided for 3 per each group. Again, for each of us, this setup may be a bit different. And again, this is like a homework for you to think, like, what are those different types for the skills in my area, in my domain, in my profession. So let's start with the urgent skills. So very simply, urgent skills, it's something that we need now, immediately. This is something that we've seen especially very, very strongly in the last 12 months, when companies, they had to actually suddenly change because of COVID. So there was no time in developing skills. There was like certain set of skills that the companies needed now. And I will give you 3 examples. So one of them is innovation, the other is design thinking, and then and the third one is digital mindset. So very briefly, let's dive into the first one, the innovation part. So innovation is actually it's very interesting. It's something that if you have innovation as one of the strong skills of you, it means that you can have like a vision. You can pursue your vision even if you are facing some kind of challenges, right? So regardless, for example, the COVID organizations who were like really who survived, they were sometimes able to really develop new areas, new products, even in the like really big challenges. So definitely consistent innovation is something that organizations needed now. We always say that, how many organizations do you know who were planning some developments over the next 2-3 years, and now they had to do it last year over a couple of days or couple of weeks. So this is something that is very common, and that's why employees with innovative mindset, innovative skills, they were definitely in demand. We also love that, or we say that, that most of the digital transformation is actually run in the last 12 months by COVID-19. Another good example here is to see how innovation is actually changing. So this is the graph that shows you how many years it took the different industry to get yearly 60 million of subscribers or customers. For airlines, it was over 60 years to get to 50 million of customers. But if you go down, like for example for Pokemon Go, it was only 19 days. So you can see how innovation is like it's shortening. It's much faster process. And this is something that companies are definitely not going to resign from that, because again, the competitive advantage is dependent on that. Very briefly about design thinking. Design thinking is not going anywhere, because also a lot of organizations, they need to be now customer centric, right? So it means that the organizations really have to understand the customers. You design something for the customer, not like what you want to do, but you actually understand what the customer needs and where the customer is. So here actually things related like to empathy and then like really very unique human skills are very important part of the design thinking here. So it's, in other words, it basically means customer centricity. And if you think about companies who are not running on the customer centricity but running on assumptions, this is how they run. They basically hit something, they don't know what they are doing, and they are blindfolded. So that's something that definitely it's not the future of many organizations. And then very briefly, the last one is the digital mindset. It's basically being able to incorporate technology in your daily roles. This is something especially important for organizations who are more traditional. It's not like very many often, but especially needed right now, as you have a lot of possibilities unlocked in this one, especially in social media, in big data, mobility, cloud, and robotics. So just here, very good examples of some tools that we are definitely following and we are showing. So Crystal knows, I definitely, as I want to give you the good example, please try and check it and try it on LinkedIn. We have nothing to do with it, but we use it very, 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 to big extent. It basically shows you, it's a great tool. It shows you different personas of everybody's profile. So you can, for example, even see like how to talk to the person, what kind of language to use, what kind of sentences to use. So it's a great tool. And again, we highly recommend to use as much technology as possible in everyday operations. So cutting edge, very briefly, cutting edge skills are the skills that they basically, they are not going anywhere. They will stay here. The demand for them will, stay for, regardless of the black swans pandemic or whatever happens, they will just basically stay with us. Couple of skills here that we want to bring here. It's definitely cloud computing and the rest I will definitely and from cloud computing I would like to start because this is something definitely that we've seen that it was already going very, very well before pandemic. So already the growth on the cloud was growing, but now in the COVID, in the recent situation, the growth is just like bigger. It's like a boom. So that's something that this is not going anywhere. So understanding the cloud, how this affects your work, how this affects your daily operation, and how you can unlock growth there is definitely something to understand. AI. The AI is something that, I have the feeling that it was a buzzword for a very long time, but actually, we have GrowthTribe produced a really good, like video on artificial intelligence and how it's connected. But AI is for the last years. It sneaked up on us, on our lives. We even don't see it. We don't even notice it. It's everywhere. So really understanding how you can unlock growth in your organization and how you can unlock growth in your profession by using the artificial intelligence and different algorithms is it's definitely something that it's not going anywhere and it's only growing. I definitely recommend this video from my colleague Bernardo about AI and how it impacts our lives. It basically shows that how many things that we thought in the beginning that are nice to have are actually now becoming must-haves for many organizations, like reading the like vision, and then kind of like understanding the algorithms and learning and training the algorithms in the right way. So definitely something that we put as a crucial skills for everybody to know. And data visualizations as the third one. Data visualization we actually see as a training company that it's growing as enormously. Organizations really have a lot of data nowadays. The data is not a problem. There is like you can gather data from many different sources, and we estimate by the end of 2022, 90% of corporations will actually use data as the critical asset for organization. But still, if you think about it, only 0.5% of organizations are actually used, or data is really used. We call it a last mile problem, when there's a lot of data in the company, but people don't know how to use it. They don't know how to visualize that, put a vision on the data and how to communicate the data. So data visualization and understanding data is definitely a crucial one. And the last three types of the fundamental skills third type fundamental skills it's absolutely my favorite. I believe this is like one of the most important ones, if not really the most important, when we think about building our career. Definitely, it's not going anywhere. The demand for those skills. Here, a couple of very briefly, skill sets. So. First of all, is change mindset, change management. So you as a leader, you as a professional nowadays, you really have to understand how to lead this change. As I mentioned, there is so much development going on in the technology. Like you have to understand how to engage with your team members, how to plan it, how to measure, how to execute. Those skills are related around here box. It's anything related to communication, planning, and analysts. Building support and also like team building and working with the teams, very, very crucial skills. So change management, definitely important ones. Remote work, I won't dive into this one because we all work remotely, but I just want to tell you that remote work is not going anywhere. Everybody is thinking about going back to the hybrid models and so on, but definitely something that we're going to observe is that people are not going back to 100% offices, and working remotely with full energy and full capability is actually a skill. I can recommend Daniel Pink and his books about like managing your energy to be efficient when you work alone. So that's something I highly, highly recommend. And the third, and absolutely not the last one, last but not least, is definitely a right mindset and adaptability. And here I would like to quote my favorite author, Yuval Noah Harari, who actually said that, it's not anymore about learning, one skill or something like, language or how to code. It's actually learning how to be, flexible, how to be adaptable, how to be, how to have this right mindset of adjusting all the time. Because guys, the change is not going anywhere, and as I said in the beginning, it's only faster. And they are just some companies who got it very well. One of my favorite examples is actually Microsoft. So Microsoft really implements growth mindset, adaptability, like very, very seriously. They put growth mindset as a core for them. And they went from the journey from I know it all to I learn it all culture. And you can actually see that there is some correlation between the company, when the company implemented this growth mindset in all levels, and there's a correlation that the company's value grows all the time. I'm not saying that this is the only reason for the growth of the company value, the growth mindset, but definitely there's a very strong correlation between those two. So again, they are companies who are really taking this seriously and teams who are taking this very, very seriously. So adaptability and the growth mindset. So guys, this was pretty much it. I would like to leave you with one question. What is your Tshirt profile? How do you want to stay, relevant in your work? What kind of skills are your urgent skills, cutting edge skills, and fundamental skills? We're gonna definitely, I'm gonna share with you this canvas so you can feel it by yourself if you want. So if you go to the grow.ac /TechChill, there will be waiting for you a pretty nice bundle. We're going to have like a skills of the future report for you. We're going to have exactly the canvas. And I'm going to share with you also the access to capability scan where you can measure your skills. How are you doing when it comes to skills that we consider as necessary and where you might still need help in development or where you are super, super strong and you can actually help others in training. So yeah. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the event and please send me some messages as well on my email or connect with me via LinkedIn. Thank you so much.